Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage, and today we're going to be having a look at BTC. We're going to be discussing where we think this move is going and what we see in the near future. Okay, so let's get into the price action now. So there's a few things I want to talk about before we jump into that. I'm going to bring up the sort of the biggest scenario that we're looking for here. So we're actually looking for this to be an ABC potentially to the upside, or alternatively a bigger impulse where this becomes 1, 2. Then we're looking for that third wave. Third wave confirmation is only coming by moving up here higher towards 43,239 and then developing that fourth wave. The other ways we were talking about this is that it could just be corrective. And we've actually come up to this 0.854, which is this 29,695. So technically speaking, this could be a completed C wave to the upside if we want to look at this as a expanded wave one, where basically this move becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 to the upside. And then that is basically completed. And, we have a move here. So there's a couple of options here. So either this move could still be developing where this becomes another 1 and a 2 here, and then we look to push to the upside again for a third wave. Or alternatively, we haven't discussed this for a while, but we could still have this mislabeled where this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the reason I don't like this is because of the fact that this fourth wave came down so low. These things can happen though sometimes, so we need to just bear that in mind. It is still possible that this could have been a fourth wave and this was a fifth wave. If this is the case, basically this whole move would become a single structure here. We'd be on the lookout for that potential to find support in a bigger three-wave move to the downside. So there's two support zones respectively are this green area, which would be for that potential 1, 2, which would be pretty much anything from this higher range here. So this is the 0.382. I've included this just because it depends how we come down here. If we come down in a complex structure, potentially we could end between this 382 and this 50% here, which is sitting between this 25,916 to this 24,557. The lowest I'd want to see as this move as a 1, 2 would be this 21,553. I wouldn't want to see us break down past this and then start to sort of consolidate underneath that level. A wick through is fine, finding support and then moving away, that is all good. But as soon as we start to consolidate below this area, the probability becomes higher that we're going to take this low here at this 19,564. So with this in place, basically, we have that as a 1-2 potential setup. The alternative is that this whole move is a single wave structure, in which case we could still see a move down towards this 22,117 to this 18,430 level. So this could still be a support zone should we break this low and should we break this 0.786. So it's quite an interesting zone, this 0.618 here, which would be this 20,564 to this 20,143. Would bring us back into this little zone here. The 0.786 would actually bring us back into these lows, which would also be quite an interesting area. So we'll have to just keep an eye on this as we get, continuation with this wave structure if it does continue to the downside. So we're going to discuss the internals now of this. This move, technically speaking, hasn't invalidated here, where we're looking for this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, potentially another 1, 2 here, and then looking for this as another 1 and a 2. The problem is we've come down really deep now. So we haven't actually taken the low yet, but it is getting pretty close. So it's because of the fact we've come past that 0.786, it's already very unlikely that we're going to see this play out. So we need to see if it does hold, then potentially, we'd need to see a break of these highs again for confirmation that we're getting continuation here, which would be this 31,000 level. If we do lose this low here of this 27,800, that invalidates that potential of extension to the upside here and would mean that either this move from here is A, B, and then we're looking for that C wave and that flat correction, which we were talking about, and that would be looking at this move in this manner here, where we could be looking for potentially a move down. So the support zone for this typical support zone would actually be lower down here towards this 24,628 to this 21,191. So what I want to see here is if we start to develop a bigger impulse down here, where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We get another fourth and a fifth, and potentially come down into some of these lower ranges here. What we could then get is that within this we have a bigger impulse that is looking to target out some of these lower areas. So this would be the typical support zone we'd be looking for, but I do have some targets which are higher up here. This 25747 would be a 1.618 of this A wave here. So if we do come down, sorry, 2.618, the 1.618 actually sits here at this 27,627. So I'm keeping an eye on this area. If we do get a move that breaks back to the upside here, it is possible that we could have actually had a flat within here. But the internals are not great with that if we're looking at it in that way, because of the fact that we just don't have a good five-wave sequence here. If we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then another fourth and a fifth, potentially that could look to bring us into the center line here, which is sitting towards this 27K region. That would make more sense, but currently just ending where we are wouldn't really make sense. I'd want to see sort of some more structures to match up with these waves twos that we have here. So this would be basically the other option I'm looking for if we are talking bullish potential, where this is actually a one. We're getting a bigger flat correction here for a two, and then we'd be looking for that continuation up. But we're going to have to monitor how this move actually plays out here. Some key zones, like I said, was this higher range here between this 28,381 to this 27,627. So we're right within this range now. If this extends down though, this 25,747 is going to be a zone that we need to keep an eye on. As well as that, we have this other way of measuring it over here, which could potentially bring us to a target between this 26,000 to this 25,353. So we're going to monitor these internals here and get a better idea of what's going on. The problem is when we get moves like this to the downside, they can look to extend out. So I'm going to just go over that bullish option of the potential breakouts still being viable. But the problem is we are getting to the point that we haven't crossed, it's 27,800, but it's getting close now. So the probability of this actually being a wave two is greatly reduced now because of how deep we have come here, and it's looking like potentially we could actually come down one more time and sweep these lows, which would then get rid of that potential that we have this as a five-wave move here, and this is completed and we're looking for a wave two. So this is something that as long as we stay above 27,800 is technically still possible, but I don't think it's very probable anymore. So what I'm looking out for here is with this potential breakdown, there's a couple of ways we can look at it. We can possibly treat it as a corrective move here if we want to argue that this is a wave, we have a B wave up, and then we're getting a C wave. So this is still viable. The internals would suggest that this move is potentially coming towards an end here. We could have one more drop, in which case I would be looking out for the potential to come down towards this zone here. Yeah, I mean, of this 1.618, which would be this 27,516 area. But really, the zone we could look to test is this 27,691 to this 27,491 area. We need to be careful within this because there can always be extensions within these waves. And, what I'm counting here is that within this, we have a five-wave sequence where this becomes wave one, two, three, four, and then we're looking for this fifth wave to be completed here. It is possible that it is completed, or alternatively, we could argue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is completed. This low here, this 27,815 is going to hold, and this could then become a B, and then a C to the upside, and we start to move away from this area. But if we take this low again, I would be looking towards this 27,516. What we have to be careful of is if we do continue to break down and we drop below this point of let me just turn this on here. This is 27,537, so this is going to be a key. If we do drop down below this point, what we've got to be careful of is within here that we don't have an additional 1, 2, this all becomes a 3, we get a fourth and a fifth again. And then that would just mean that within the structure we're getting extension. And that would probably then mean that this is a 1, 2 here. This would all become a 3, we get a 4 and a 5, another 4 and a 5, and that could actually look to push us down in a much deeper way. But this area, this 27,516, I would want to see how we react there. If we do move down here, and then we start, either if we move down or we just hold this level, what I want to see for confirmation that we don't have further extension down here is basically getting back above these highs. If we break back above these highs, then we can argue that, this has just been a corrective structure and this would still be viable as, potentially looking for a bigger third wave here. But once we start to lose that zone, that is invalidated. The thing we got to be careful of here is if we do complete to the downside where this is A, B, and C, what this could just be is a bigger A wave here. In which case, what we'd be looking out for is that potential to form a B wave to the upside and then actually continue down. So this 30,367 is going to be a key level, which is going to be these highs here. If we fail to break above this and get away from this zone, it could be possible that we still have this as a bigger A, B, and a C pattern, which would look to take us down much deeper. I'm just going to go off of our current area. If we came back up and we tested that 0.618, potentially 1-to-1 would take us down towards this 26,827 level. If we didn't manage to come up as high, obviously this drops this level down. So this is what we got to be careful within the structure here. So I'm going to go into the more bearish option here, and which is looking for this move to actually not be a corrective move down, but rather be a impulse to the downside. So from here, it is looking like we are potentially towards the completion of this move. I'm looking at this basically as a 1, 2 here. This all into here as a 3. This is a fourth as a flat, and then looking for this to complete down here. So, I mean, technically speaking, this could actually complete already, and we've got a low. So we need to just watch this level. What we need to be careful of here is that if this is, we can potentially count this as a corrective move to the downside, but it could also be that we have one of two things going on here. So the first thing is, I'm going to just turn off this internals again. The first thing is that we could have an expanding diagonal where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is wave 5. In which case, what we need to be careful of is this could then still be an A wave completed or a wave 1. If we then get a 3-wave move, fail to break back above this 40,451. So this is going to be a key area. We need to get back above these highs if we want to talk about bullish potential here anymore. Until we do, this opens up that possibility of forming a bigger 5-wave move to the downside where this would then become a wave 1. We get a wave 2 up, 3 to the downside, which could look to take us towards this 25,222, an additional fourth wave back up towards this 26,959, and then a fifth down towards 24,835 to this 24,213. So this is the bearish count here. We need to be careful that we don't see this play out, because this would then, I mean, it would still fit into that idea of having that bigger flat correction here. But the problem is, what we have to be careful of is that this doesn't then become either a wave 1 or an A wave. We get a B wave, and then we look for continuation down again. So this is what we're going to have to be watching out for if we start to develop these moves to the downside. Okay, so that's the one way of looking at it. The alternative is that we are looking at this as a series of 1s and 2s in the beginning here. This becomes 1, 2, this becomes another 1, 2, because we didn't take this high. And then what we have here is potentially a third wave. So this third wave could look to be getting to the zone that it could complete. So within this, I've got a couple of target areas. I'm actually going to throw this one on here as well. So if we do look to extend out here some more, I'm going to be keeping an eye out on this lower range of this 27,277. So that's where this would then be 2.618 of the wave 1. So if we do move down into this level, this would also tie in with coming back and sweeping some of these areas here. Potentially then what we look for is a fourth up and a fifth down again. So this is going to be key within this. If we fail to take these wave one areas, so this area of this 29,096, and then break these highs, once again, we still have that potential to extend out to the downside. And what I'm looking for here is that basically once this wave three completes, if it hasn't completed here already, I'm going to be looking out for a move towards this 29,199. If we break above this 50% level, it becomes less likely that we are in a fourth, and it would actually invalidate this by crossing this wave one. If, however, we just move up towards this 382 level, which would be the previous fourth wave structure, what we could then find is a additional drop down to this zone of this 27,591 to this 27,222, and then basically looking for continuation to the downside one more time. It's possibly towards this 27,172 to this 26,742. So this would actually bring us back into these lows over here. So if we did get a five-wave move like this, basically what we have to do here then is see how we react. If we get a five-wave move like this could be a flat correction, A, B, C, and that's completed. The alternative is that, this could be an A wave, we come back up for a B wave, and we get a C wave to the downside. Or this becomes one, we get two, and then we get a bigger third wave. So this is the danger when we start to develop five-wave structure. We need to see, at the moment, we just have three waves here. We don't have a five-wave move, but this can always develop into one quite easily. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on these levels. It's 27,277 if we continue to drop, and then potentially deeper here if we move down to this 3.618 would be here towards this 26,142. That would be based off of looking at this as a 1, 2, and then looking for that as a bigger third wave. So if we're extending out, sometimes it can happen where we do reach these higher 618 multiples of the wave 1. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also in the description you'll find a link to Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join. As well as that, you'll find affiliate links for Primex BT and BYBIT down there, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. Check them out for yourself. If you do not have an account, using the affiliate link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.